Bro, I made a kid like legitimately pissed today on trick or treating.
Not enough candy?
I mean, in result, that's what happened. We sit out in the garage and we face the street. Like we put the couch out and we face the street, right? And the kids come up the driveway and Sarah hands it to them. That's the key point. Because, they take like 6 and then we're out by half an hour later.
Right.
This kid walks up, right? And it's a big group. When a group bum rushes you, right, they want their candy immediately. So if Sarah's handing to one kid, the other kid wants it as fast.
Yes.
So he butts up in there, right? We're rubbing shoulders at this point. Well, it started happening like it was like 6 kids. So Sarah's like
shoulders. Get chesting up to you.
Kinda. It almost happened, but then he wimped out.
Whoa.
I'll tell you. Yeah. So she's whipping it, right?
Yeah.
And the kid gets up in the thing, and I'm like, bro, no, we got you. So I grab a nice pumpkin Reese's, and I hand it to him, and he looks at me like I'm an idiot. Like, why are you handing me this? He goes, I want another one. And he didn't really say what he wanted, but I think he probably wanted something else. It's like, no, man, you got to leave some for the other kids. I was just like, he just takes it and just kind of like stared at me. Like, no, man, the other kids want some too, man. We're running out. Like the other kids, we got to give them some of them too. And he like walked away staring at me, like backed up. Like,
oh my gosh.
Like I killed his cat or something.
Wow.
Just like, it's like, I'm sorry, bro. The other kids, bro. You just want to keep it, So they go out to the street, and I'm watching them. I'm like, this cat, can't trust him. He tells his mom that he didn't get what he wanted.
Oh.
So she turns him around, and they both walk up, and Sarah gives him...
No.
Yep.
Whoa.
And I was like, yo, here it comes. And she goes, oh my gosh. I was like, yeah, that's the kid. And she gave him like a handful of, I guess, a little assortment of everything. She's like, thank you. And I went off. I think I went off the rails. I was like, I hate that kid. I literally hate that kid. If I see that kid again, I'm going to punch him in his face. I'm going to kick him over on the sidewalk.
What did the mom say when she approached you with the kid?
Nothing like, just.
Like, did she talk or did she? Just
not really. Like, just, you could tell. She's like, yeah, go get some. Like, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, God.
And he just like a stare at us and opened his bag again.
Oh, my God.
Like, I don't even know what he was. I didn't even know what the kid was as a character.
Dressed up as?
Yeah, he was trash. I literally hate that kid so much. Sarah was like, you got it. You got to relax. You got to stop. Like, so I literally hung on to that the entire time that we were out.
Yeah.
I literally hung on to it.
Sometimes.
I still am, clearly. I'm still talking about it here at 9:30 almost.
Well, as you started telling the story, I was going to be like, wow, spoiled kid much, huh? I wonder what the parents are like. So when you said he went to his fucking mom and his mom turns around, I'm like, yep, that's the fucking kid who's spoiled and thinks the world deserves him fucking to give him a platter for doing nothing. Like, that's why.
Like, what a wimp. Dude, why are you... Dude,
soft. But the parents are supporting it, too. So
I know, like...
letting him build that up.
All she had to say was, like, they need to give candy to the other kids. There's 50 million more... There's 50 million more houses with more candy. There will be one.
Plus, you're probably 100 pounds overweight. Quit eating shit.
Yeah, exactly. I just... Like, dude, this guy is soft. He sucks. Anyway, so that was my pizzazz of Halloween candy delivering story. I have a kid that doesn't like me because I literally told him no.
C wants to punch a 12-year-old in the face.
That's it. It's where it's where I'm at as an adult at 35 years old now. Is I want to punch kids in the face. I want more candy. So. Nonetheless, let's get to football. Sorry, that's my Halloween story. Happy Halloween, I guess, everybody. We already have the colors that fit Halloween. We don't have the Bengals on the list to talk about this week. But we do have another team that we talk about a lot this week. I don't know if you noticed that. You have the Ravens on the list again.
Listen, exciting football team.
It's
exciting, and I have bets on the game.
It's okay. It's okay. I just thought it was funny that they're on the list again.
A lot.
They are.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice. Whatever. You guys know where to follow us. Oh, yeah, we'll do the action URL codes if you want to scan. If you're watching us on video, if you still want to follow our bets, I know some people do. Jerry follows our bets a lot. He actually followed my sack prop tonight. Go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to say, was it last week or the week before? I did go to see, like, who follows you. And I saw Jerry, so I clicked.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, a lot of those bets align with what we're talking about.
He respects the hustle that we have. I'll tell you that right now.
Appreciate that.
You're on fire.
Jerry.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. You're on fire. Obviously, we got to respect your hustle. I only hit sack props, nothing else. So we'll respect my hustle, I guess, on that.
On the sack prop, I book everyone you bet now.
Oh, well, you know, when you win, people like winning. You know,
that's right. And you've proven you've got a niche, man.
I hope
sack props.
I hope you're right. We still got it going here. Anyway, snag our URL codes here on the screen if you're watching video. Alex_Meisch on Alex's bets, and then Joe_Wannabe Pro on mine if you want to do it via text. Again, this is the Action app. We're not sponsored. It's just an easy way for us to keep track. We started this. I think you were the one years ago. I say years ago. What, a year and a half ago? I don't even know. That pointed this out to me.
First found it. Yeah. And I think I found it through a podcast because they have a bunch of podcasts. It's the Action Network.
Yep.
So then, you know, they were talking about it, and I was like, well, this sounds cool. And then they had good content, too. And one thing led to another.
Yeah,
now we're both blog all our football bets.
I loved it. I dove in. And a lot of apps do that now. I'm not saying they're the first, but it definitely caught my interest. So we got a look at stuff. You found us anywhere where you find your podcast. And obviously, video is Facebook and YouTube if you want the time codes. I was going to say you could phrase it. YouTube's really good for that. We'll go quickly. We got a lot of stuff. Sack prop segment has taken a life of its own, so we're going to take a little bit of time with that. But where we were right, W at Arizona, team total under 28.5 for me. I love that. That was kind of a must-win for Neil Brown in West Virginia, so I knew the defense would kind of be tough. Come out tough, I should say. They did, and they kept him under. I felt that wasn't a couch cover. It was a solid bet. And then we kind of, I don't know if we want to say we cheated. Clemens was not offered, to be clear. Was offered tonight. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Wait, was he? I didn't know.
He was, and I took it. I don't know where we stand. Would not be a best bet. Like I said, if that game was on Sunday, Clemens this weekend would not be a best bet. But the plus 240 tonight, I liked, and he's been playing well. Nonetheless, Khalil Mack over half a sack. I think that hit in the first quarter.
Pretty early.
Okay, pretty early. Minus 125 is what we got it at. We felt that was fair, so we snagged it.
Fair price. And I did text you Sunday morning and confirmed who is your best bet on the sack.
Yeah, you did.
I said I would do that last podcast. You said Mac, and that was the right choice.
Yeah, we got something to talk about this go around. Joe Mixon. Sorry, don't mean to take your thunder, but you had Joe Mixon. Go ahead.
Over 76.5. He cleared 100, just like I talked about. Playing a pretty weak Colts defense against the run.
Yep.
So, yeah, that was, it wasn't, I wouldn't call it a couch cover just because it took him until the fourth quarter to hit it. So he made me sweat a little bit. But, and then this next one where I was right, A.J. Brown over 72.5 receiving yards, he hit that one very early. I think it was early third quarter probably.
Yeah.
Someone felt like another couch cover. Brings my prop total of 5-0 this year. So I have a lot of props this week. Maybe I'm feeling too confident. I could fall on my sword here, but I am going pretty big into props after the run I've been on here. So yeah, 2 more this week.
We're gonna have a lot of bets on Sunday. We have a lot of money flying. Obviously speaking, due to what we have coming up. One thing I did notice, and this is just me noticing this. Obviously, the Bengals secondary got torched. We had a best bet Bengals. We'll get to the where we were wrong next. But Calcaterra with Goddard out had 58 yards. Receiving.
It's like a second time over 50 this year.
Calcaterra is a good receiving tight end.
I picked him up on my fantasy.
Did you?
My dynasty, because he's young still.
It's weird with the transition of the Eagles tight ends, just within the recent memory. We had Ertz. Goddard didn't play a ton, but we knew Goddard started showing some talent. Then you saw that transition. Goddard now is definitely a very valid tight end in the NFL. Very solid player. And now it looks like Calcaterra can play a little bit.
It is. It's like Ertz stud to dropped off overnight, and then Goddard stepped in with stud immediately. Now he might drop off overnight. Now we got Calcaterra's. He's probably going to come in and be a stud too.
Interesting to see how that and AJ Brown and Devontae Smith had really nice games. Devontae Smith had a huge touchdown catch there in the back of the end zone was huge for them. But God, what a tough loss for the Bengals. I said I thought they were trending up. I think that home loss, I don't know what that makes them now. I have no idea. Where we were wrong, we'll get into that. LSU, LSU at Texas A&M. That was the night game. That was terrible. LSU looked decent, I thought, into the third, but fourth they didn't look like anything.
Well, isn't it right when the Texas A&M made the quarterback change? It went to shit. They were up by like 10 and they lost by like 13.
Yeah, because
it was all in the second half.
Reed again.
Yeah.
Because you hated, well, Wegman does suck. He was sucking. He was sucking going into that game. 2 picks the game before that. Yeah, so that was a tough. But Holmes, we got to remember this for next year. The home team reigned supreme in that matchup, man. I think in my notes I shredded him because that shit sucks. But the home team has won like 9 straight now. Like,
and specifically LSU A&M?
Yes.
Wow.
That game specifically, the home team runs that series. Even when I picked LSU because they were the better team, A&M won on that one. That's pretty nuts.
That is.
Eagles at Bengals. I love the bet, man. I thought it was kind of a must-win to kind of the Bengals for the trend upwards to kind of battle for the division. +7, was it +750? That they said they could win it. The Ravens have never won it, starting 0-2. So I thought maybe the trend, the history would still show itself maybe there. Maybe Bengals win it, kind of keep it going. Because nonetheless, they look terrible. 34 points by the Eagles put up there.
37.
37.
37-17. They got smoked, man.
I know, not even actually close. You had, I thought the Bears was bold. We had Bears 2.5, right?
I mean, yeah, my 2 wrongs were very hard. Bears -2.5. I lose on a Hail Mary. That's a tough loss. And 100%. I took a -2.5, and they closed +1.5 because I also took the bet saying Jane Daniels not going to play. Everything I heard leading up to the game, not going to play. He did play. I still thought it was a cover for, up until the last play of the game. I still thought I had that one. So that hurt because I think that would be defined as a bad beat when you lose on a Hail Mary.
I agree, obviously.
Next one, also tough. Now, it was a teaser with the Jets and the Chargers. Chargers, easy money. Jets. Here's what I heard about that Jets-Patriots game. The Jets are the first team in 758 tries to outgain their opponent, yards per play, by as much as they did without turning the ball over and lose the game.
Oh. The key point is that without turning the ball over.
Without a turnover. So, and I think that was like a Patriots. Without them getting a turnover, the difference in the yards per play was the biggest without causing a turnover to win a football game. So that's where I say that one kind of is tough too. When you hear about that and you look in the box score, missed some field goals again because they can't kick a field goal. So, anyways, it is what it is. We move on. Still 2-2.
Yeah, I know. You're still fine. Oh, I did not update the record this week. I could do that on a fly, but like. Nonetheless, are you going to bet on the Jets again? I know you said you're pretty much.
I bet on them tonight.
Did you really? Did you bet on them? Like, I like the money line bet for them tonight, just the money line. But I'm a money line guy. I don't know what did you have?
-2.
Oh, really?
-2. Yeah. Okay. Man, that number got as low as like 1, but it just kept going back to 2.5. Like. And I talked myself into it because I talked to a friend and a brother, and I was talking shit on the Jets. We both were. We're like, man, how are they the favorite? And I was like, because this is the fucking game. One, it's a fishy line, and this is the game when everybody gives up on a football team and they're sick of them.
Yep.
That's when they cover the next game. So and then I talked myself into betting them just based on that.
I mean, that's basically how. Like that's how. Like buy low, like the stocks. You know what I mean? You're gonna buy low, sell high, kind of thing. I mean, honestly, it's no different. Really, when you kind of get into this, you know what I mean, with the whole thing. We could show the records at the end. I could probably do this on the fly. I've done it before. I don't know why I didn't edit it, but nonetheless, we got a lot of good NFL stuff. I didn't have a ton on one of these games specifically, but we'll start it in. Broncos at Ravens.
Broncos at
Yeah,
Ravens.
I'm gonna let you kick it off.
Okay.
I have a
Yeah.
feel here, but I'm gonna let you kick it off because I want to see what your opinion's on. I'll let you start.
Okay. Put this game in here because I still think whenever the Broncos step up in talent and who they're playing, they're a fraudulent football team. Their schedule so weak, man. Their schedule's so bad. Let me read off their schedule real quick of what
Please
they've
do.
done here.
Yeah.
Team records, Broncos. Here we go. So working backwards. So they beat the Panthers with Bryce Young, with no Deontay Johnson, with no Adam Thielen. Okay. Game before that, they beat the Saints. Saints had 0 offensive linemen, 0 receivers, and Spencer Rattler. Played the Chargers, got down 23-0, tried to make a battle of it, but a step up in talent, they got whooped. They beat the Raiders in the game that Gardner Minshew got benched and they put in Aiden O'Connell. They beat the Jets 10-9 in a rain-soaked game. Beat the Bucs when their entire secondary was out. Beat the Steelers when they had Justin Fields, or lost to the Steelers, I should say, and then they lost to the Seahawks first game of the year. That's going a long ways back. Anyways, they've been lucky. That's 10. That's going. So a lot of the quarterbacks they played against simply are not the starting quarterbacks, and they had a lot of other injuries. I think they have been one of the biggest benefactors of schedule. So this is a bet against the Ravens, a bet against the Broncos. And I think the Broncos need the run game. I think they need the run game, but I don't think they're going to have it. This is a pass funnel game, which I'm going to get into. Ravens are a pass funnel defense. That's how you beat them. Teams that have beat them, they pass it extremely well. Ravens, even in those games they lose, they don't give up a ton of rushing yards. I just think that the Broncos need to be more balanced to help Bo Nix. I respect the Broncos' defense, but Ravens tend to open up pretty fast in a game. So, got a lot of bets on this one.
Oh, you do? Okay.
A decent amount. I have the Ravens in a teaser for starters because they're at 8.5 now, so I got them down to 2.5.
Okay.
I didn't want to take them full 9. Actually, I really strongly considered it, but I found another bet I liked, a couple others. So I went ahead and teased them. We'll get to I paired it with at the end. I have their team total over 13.5 first half. They start fast. I think Lamar Jackson, when I was looking back, or not just Lamar Jackson, but he's obviously tough, but I liked that more than the -9 at the time. So I prefer taking the over 13.5 team total because we've seen them just get these huge leads in the third quarter and then the fourth quarter it crumbles. So that's my fear with the -9 is the Broncos come back like they did against the Chargers. They do have a fight. They have fight in them.
Yep.
But favorite bet of the game, favorite bet of the week, Bo Nix over 32.5 pass attempts. Let me
Are you coming
pull this
around?
back.
Are you coming around on Bo Nix?
Not really.
Okay.
But
They pass a lot. Yeah.
And there's specifically certain games where they too. I actually think Bo Nix is fine. I think he's going to have a fine career. I'm not mad at Bo Nix. But going to their game log here. So whenever they've had to play a team that does have anything of a rushing defense, he throws a shit ton. The games where he has not crossed this was against the Jets when that was that torrential downpour and they ran a ton. The Raiders where they won 34-18, so they had the huge lead, and then the Saints where they won 33-10. If you remember that Thursday Night Football, that game was out of hand.
Yeah.
Every other game, he has cleared this.
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
And then I also go look at the Ravens because they're pass funnel defense. I think Sean Payton's going to know they're going to need to throw the football more because the running game's just not going to be effective. So he's cleared this in 5 out of 8. That's not super significant, but it's because of the defense they're playing. Being strong at run, not as strong at pass. So, favorite of the week, Bo Nix, 32.5 pass attempts.
Yeah, pretty nuts, really, the fact that how effective they were on the run versus the Chargers. And Bo Nix did throw for 206, but the problem is they lost the turnover battle, right? That would be the key why I'm assuming, lost to the Chargers there. As in, they had a 6.1 rushing yard average versus the Chargers there, but they lost 16-23. How many points is Lamar Jackson worth, you think?
Who's his backup?
I honestly didn't even. I was going to look it up due to his injury, but I think he's going to play. He's going to play. Yeah, he set out practice, but they said it was more of a rest day.
Exactly.
Rest day.
A lot of pros do that now.
Yes.
So I don't worry about that questionable tag on a Wednesday.
But he's a little bit banged up. And I know that's not a ton in the NFL. You shouldn't read it. If they play, they play, right? They're gamers, especially someone who's won 2 MVPs. I understand that. But it's noted for me. The reason I asked it, 9 points, I got it at 9. I have Broncos plus 9. That's my bet. Not a best bet. That's my bet. So a little different than you. You're teasing them down, right? But
because I'm worried about that backdoor cover.
There we go.
Yeah.
Nix is getting better-ish. He's fine.
He's fine.
We can't go nuts here. He's fine. I have hit a bet on him earlier this year when he only had 22 yards in the first half. But gosh, I bet that live prop was so nice. 120 yards probably. I don't even know if it was that much. Probably not. But the Ravens having the 20th best pass coverage, according to PFF, kind of stuck out a little bit to me. For someone that passes 62.8% of the time, that's a lot in the NFL, I think. Everyone talks about how maybe it could be a passing league. I don't know if it's that much anymore. We see a lot of running teams still, especially now, with running quarterbacks, stuff like that. But the Broncos are third in the PFF in pass blocking, so they pass block really well. Ravens passed 55% of the time, and the Broncos have a very good pass coverage defense, second in ranked pass coverage defense. So there's a lot of things that match up here for the Broncos at least covering. I'm not saying win the game. I'm not saying that. I just don't think Bo Nix in Baltimore is ready to do that. I don't think so. Plus, not having a running game. I'm a big running game defense guy. You never can control the game if you can't run the football. You don't control the football game, right? Because if you're let's look at. South Florida's a bad example, and I'm sorry, but I've watched them in person, so it's easy to see. They only run one way, or they only play the game one way, and that's fast paced and throwing the football.
I hate that.
That's a lot of 3 and outs there within 50 seconds.
And then your defense has 0 time to rest.
There you go. That's why I'm the way
it kills you. It's not a team game, yeah.
Correct. So it's tough to control the game that way. I don't know. Phil's still not a big, NFL guy, but his game grades for the Broncos are pretty solid. The Broncos had a really good game versus Tampa Bay, 26-7. That's really nice. And Tampa Bay's a respectable team. I don't know. Yeah, they had a really bad game versus the team we're talking about, right? The Ravens, but. They're still a respectable team, and they got a good game against New Orleans. I know, obviously, not having the quarterback until this week, they're pretty bad, but nonetheless, their game grades are almost very similar.
Sorry, go ahead, finish up.
I'm just saying that 9's a lot. That's it. That's the end result. I think 9's a lot considering some of their stats show its strengths versus the team that's supposed to be so good.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. With the pass defense, the pass blocking. Right, some of those things kind of contradict what the Ravens present, so that's why I like the plus 9. It's going down, so a lot of people are taking
it. It has. They kind of left the teaser open for me today because I was originally going to go. The Bills was going to be one of my legs,
okay,
because they just own the Dolphins. The historic, the past 4 years, they just fucking own them, man.
Yep.
Tua versus Josh Allen, he wins every time. But anyways, once I saw this cut to 8.5, I was like, I'm doing the Ravens. They do not lose this game, not after losing that. Bo Nix coming to Baltimore. And the other thing, though, so just going back to my prop, because you said you can't do it without a run game, right? Well, what do teams do when they go against strong run teams to still control the game? They throw short passes.
Yeah.
They set it up other ways. They do screens. That's pass attempts, right? That's where I love that bet, and that's why I say it's my favorite of the week.
Yeah.
I just think everything supports it because if they're playing from behind too, they're going to have to throw to catch up.
It'd be interesting. Yeah. I wonder what the Bo Nix turnover prop is for over a pick, even though the Ravens have a 20th best pass defense. That's a lot to get into.
If you look on PFF though, Broncos grade out super well. So I get it from that perspective, but I think it's a good spot for the Ravens. I'm going to see if I can pull up that interception real quick.
Yeah, no worries.
Interception, minus 150.
For what, Nix for over an interception?
For over half an interception, yeah.
Shoot, I might go the other way just on value. I won't. I'm just talking. Nonetheless. Okay, cool. It looks like it's dropped to 8 in a lot of books. Not all the books, but some books. 8.5, 8. So does it get to 7 before we move on? Does it get to 7, you think?
No. Okay. 8. 8's the limit. 8. I think it's fair if it goes to 8 and 8.5.
8 is the limit, he says. Okay, cool. Next we got is, I believe, I'm not looking at the script, but Rams at Seahawks, yes. Gosh, man, when I looked at this game and I first started, I was like, dude, let's take this off. These teams are
really
random as ball sack. I actually hate this game. I don't have any feel. I don't watch either one of them. The West Coast teams are really tough for me. But it's just kind of a mash. I'll let you lead us off again, but we have the spread. Oh, it's all over the board, depending what book you have. So we have 1.5 out there with FanDuel. We're sitting at maybe a half here at Bet Rivers. Go ahead. What you got?
Oh, okay. I only see 1 to 1.5.
Nice. Okay.
But it was last week look ahead. It was Seahawks -3, so big jump.
Okay.
Just yeah. So it is like a significant shift, and it got all the way to 2.5. Got bought back to the 1.5. So I got a number of things on this bet too, and another. God, yeah, that's funny you say that because I thought this matchup was brilliant, man. Sean McVay is one of my favorite offensive coaches, and Mike McDonald has just proven to be a stud on a defensive side. So I was just like, what a fucking great matchup. I want to look in this game. I didn't know if I'd find anything, but I was like, I want to look at this game. So that's why I'm going to put it on here. Rams, man, what do you think? I think they are going to start hitting the uptrend here big time. What say you before I go on?
When I first looked at it, I was like, they have to. McVay's not that bad of a coach. I won't dive in too much, but they're a terrible pass blocking team, which concerns me with an older quarterback. But go ahead.
Yes, they are. Well, we saw that week 1 with the
Lions.
Lions too. I mean, they were all over Matt Stafford that night.
Yeah.
But they had their 2 stud receivers in Kyron Williams, and they had them back versus Minnesota, and I thought they looked like a new team. And I know that it's only 1 game and it's on a short week, so you can't just take that. But even going back to the previous couple games, I thought they started to look a lot better without Cooper Kupp and Nacua. I think McVay needed a couple weeks to figure it out. Because if you remember the first couple games when they lost both those guys, they sucked. Like, they were getting blown out. They got blown out by the Cardinals. They weren't good. But they started to play teams tough, came back and beat the Niners, and then obviously beat the Vikings, which I do not think the Vikings are fraudulent. Like, some people want to jump and say that. We'll get to them next because they've lost 2 in a row. I don't think that's the case at all. So I was impressed with that win. And so I'm on the Rams here -1.5. I don't mind the Seahawks. They are such an up and down team. It almost scares me to bet 4 against them because I'm like, what am I going to get from this team? They're so all over the place, man. They can win against an impressive team by 2 touchdowns and then get their ass beat. So they're hard to judge. Going on PFF too, I was like, man, their player grades on the defensive line are really good. It doesn't match the eyes and it doesn't match the box score games though. The Seahawks team, when I look at their grades on PFF versus what I'm seeing other teams do to them, it just does not match up. So I like the Rams because they own the Seahawks. You could say, okay, new coaching staff. Okay, well, I remember Mike McDonald was on the Ravens last year, and I remembered that game versus the Rams was crazy, so I went back and looked. The Rams were a pretty big underdog, and they lost in overtime in that game. And they lost 37-31. And I remember, and this is why I looked back at it, because I was like, I thought Sean McVay and that offense did whatever they want, and they did. They were just chunking, and that is when the Ravens had a better defense last year. They were way better. Remember, their defense was stud. That's why they were number 1 in the AFC. And they did that against a better roster. So I like McVay in the spot. That is a best bet. I'll kind of wrap this up here. There's a couple other things I found, though. Again, I didn't let PFF scare me off. There's sometimes when PFF supports me and other times when I'm like, I got to trust my eyes and I got to trust what's happening on the field, even in the box score.
Yeah.
I'm on Kyron Williams over 86.5 rush yards.
Wow.
And I say that because you go look at the Seahawks defensive line and they grade well. And I'm like, well, they've been getting healthier. Let me look. No, these guys have been here for a few weeks and they're still getting torn apart by if anybody has a semblance of a rushing attack, their running backs are getting over this number. Kyron Williams, I think, is hit at 5 of 8 as well. So I like the matchup here. I think they're going to want to grind it out. And then the other thing I have Kenneth Walker over 29.5 receiving yards. Now that's a plus money bet. I took that at plus 120 because it was 25.5 for minus 110. Or I was like, yeah, let me bump it up 4 yards and get plus 120 on it. That was just simply going and looking at the Rams and like, For whatever reason, running backs catch a lot of balls on them, and they clear this number often. If you go back and look at like the opposing team, when they played the Bears running back, can't think of his name, 7 catches, 77 yards, leading receiver. Pretty much every game, the receivers catch about 4 balls, averaging probably 35 yards. So that's just a random thing I found. But that is so. Yeah, I love studying this game. So what else do you have?
Kyron Williams, to jump on that, just some more stuff. The Rams have played 2 divisional opponents already, right? And it being the Niners and the Cardinals. Sorry, I was collecting it, trying to spit it. The average versus division opponents is 4.9 yards a carry, right?
It's impressive.
Yeah. So it's higher than their non-divisional. So higher than the other games. I'm going to support you even more here. And this is just me looking. I'm not trying to cheat here. I'm not trying to support my boy here. I'm just trying to help the homies. Actually, no, wait. Sorry. I messed up. Sorry. This is better, though. This is actually kind of better. Seahawks defense against divisional opponents are allowing, on average, 6.9 yards a carry. They have played the 49ers. Have they played anybody else? I don't see Arizona on there. Not yet. They have Arizona at the end of the year. So only one. So maybe that's a bad example. Nonetheless, they got killed on the run with that. So that might support it, I guess, a little bit there, that you got a lot of rushing yards allowed inside the division. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it kind of helps. I mean, Kyron Williams, the only problem with him, he's only averaging 3.8 yards a carry, which is a little bit scary. And they only had 3.3 yards last week, right? The Rams did rushing. So but they had a slow start, but I think they picked it up more. Like, for example, they didn't have over 100 yards rushing until at Chicago there. What was that, week 4 probably? Yeah, week 4. So a little bit down. Would you say 86.5 or is it 83.5?
Wait, I just moved off of it.
Sorry, that was my mistake.
It is 86.5. 86.5. So yeah, he started slow. Third game, he got it. Fourth game, fifth game. But after that slow start, look at the rest of those games. The only one time he didn't get it, he got 76 yards.
Be interested to know what the Seahawks rushing defense is ranked for PFF. Don't have it in front of me. Okay, I'll let you go.
See if I can find it while you.
I got you. All right,
give your spill.
I just in terms of bet on the game, man. Like, I have Metcalf in fantasy. He's been banged up. I hate that. Obviously, a very good receiver, and also Tyler Lockett's banged up. Now, I believe they're probably going to be back, but they won't commit. So I think it's kind of up in the air, at least for DK Metcalf, it sounds like. And I know Geno Smith's a very solid quarterback all of a sudden, which is still insane to me. Without the 2 receivers, it's going to be really hard for me to take a Seahawks in any fashion. I'll just say that. Okay. The total kind of stuck out a little bit. Last 8 matchups between these 2 teams, the over has only hit 1 time.
Wow.
Yeah, and these are divisional opponents, so they play twice a year. So and McVay has been the coach. This is his 8th year.
The whole time, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much the whole time. I've gotten away from trends. I had a really good weekend last weekend, so I don't know if it's better for me to not focus on those, but that is insane. And just a general stat here. Last 10 years, for the Seahawks specifically, for the division opponents, the under is 25-33-2. So it's favored to the under for divisional opponents for the Seahawks. I haven't bet the under in any facet, but it is a little high. The over-under, it's 40? Sorry. We could probably show on the browser, but I think it's 48.5, I believe is what it is. Here we go. Yeah. Oh, it's up. Some people are hitting the under here at 47.5 is what it's dropped to on some books. Okay. Looking at the game grade, I'm going to jump back on this. Just based off how you look at the Rams, they're generally a consistent team in how they look, at least from what I'm seeing in the numbers. I'm going to go back to Phil Steele with this just because I don't see the Rams and Seahawks a lot. The last 4 game grades average is 85. The last 4 game grades for Seahawks is 80. So similar how you said, and though the Rams have been generally consistent, I think the Seahawks might be going in the other direction here. And I was looking at just the general numbers here. There's a lot of games that they have lost, but they are also way farther down than the differential between yardage as well. So they lose to the Giants 20-29, but they really lost in the yardage area. You know what I mean? Like when they lose, they don't play well.
Yes.
Like we're going to talk about Vandy in Texas. Like Vandy outgained them by over 184 yards, right? Like this, when the Seahawks lose, they lose. So like, I have money line Rams.
Okay,
I do like this bet.
Sorry, that is how I gave it out, was money line, because that's a smarter bet.
Okay,
well, fuck the 1 point,
dude.
That.
NFL's a wild sport to bet. It's not as wild as the NHL. It's a wild sport to bet, though. You just said it earlier with the Hail Mary. You can get really screwed real quick. I understand the Rams. They're on trending up. Let's just say that. Let me cut it off. I think they're trending up. I think the Minnesota win's nice, and that could get them rolling here. We could see some straight wins. Miami's not that very good of a team. New England is always going to compete for the worst record in the NFL. I still, to this day, I know they destroyed the Bengals. I'm still not on board with them. I don't know if I ever will be. New Orleans is not good, even though we're not going to go into their schedule. But you understand. I'm going to jump on with this. I think they kind of started like a dud. At least, week 2 they lost to my studs, Arizona Cardinals. But we'll let that slide.
Like I said, that was right after the 2 studs get injured.
I know. I do want to run something by you, though.
Okay.
I need you to bring up some lineups on this matchup on PFF. I need to talk about this. This is going to be a best bet. Want to get your feedback. Byron Young, Rams side of the ball. He's averaging a sack every other game. He's averaging at least 2 quarterback hurries the last 5 games. If you take a look at the lineups on the Seahawks' right side of the O-line here. Mike Jarrell has only played weeks 8 and 9, and he's not good at pass blocking. Right? Can't be ranked because he's only played 2 weeks. Their right guard, Anthony Bradford. He's one of the worst pass blocking right guards in the NFL, ranked at 63rd out of 73. I'm feeling a Byron Young, so random, sack prop. The Seahawks, I believe, are ranked 9th or 6th and a worst pass blocking in the NFL. So they're not good either. The Rams aren't good either. If you want to do a sack prop against the Rams, they're second worst.
I believe it.
They're not
Stafford
good either.
bails them out. Yeah.
And Stafford is awful in pressure as well this year. I think
that seems weird.
Yeah, if you look at his numbers,
he is though. Yeah, that's they both
46.6.
Interesting.
The under is loving it here. Okay, I haven't hit it, but there's a lot of things that make you want. Both teams cannot pass block for shit. Okay,
so then you have to run.
And here's another stat: 70% of the time, the Seahawks pass. 58.8% of the time, the Rams pass. If these two D-lines can get after the quarterback, this could get messy. I don't know what to say. What are your opinions of Byron Young? I know it's going to take a little bit to 8th worst of Seahawks, sorry, in terms of pass blocking. I was right in the middle. But go ahead.
So here's what I think you need to pay attention to. One, going back. So Seahawks are rated the 24th best rush defense. That's kind of going back.
Okay.
So not great. No. Byron Young. So you're right as far as the Seahawks offensive line. They've been terrible. You got to pay attention to the injury because Fant.
Yes.
George Fant.
Tight end.
No, he's a tackle.
You're
thinking of Noah Fant. Sorry, George. Is it George Fant? It's another Fant.
You're right. I'm looking at it right now. G Fant.
Yes. He's a respectable right tackle. He was their starter last year, their starter coming into this year. It says he's on the injured reserve, but that other R means able to return. So They opened up his window. So he's actually questionable this week. It doesn't say that, but everything I've heard, he's questionable. So if he's out, Byron Young's a full go. If he's in, I back away from it. That's how I feel. Yeah, it's all based on that, man. And they've got another guy, Abraham. I don't see him. He must be he's pretty close, but he's that right guard that should be starting. And so you've got, their whole right side of the line sucks right now. So I would just pay attention to the Seahawks injuries.
Yeah, it's weird. I think this number, I'll say this. We'll move on. This number's going to be juicy, kids. I'm serious.
Byron Young?
It's going to be nice. It's going to be nice. Reason I say this is if you look at a lot of his stuff, it's weird. You know, maybe this is more of a college basketball take. I don't know. When you look at a team and you're like, they're not very good, but they just put up numbers and win, but they're not good. I don't know. I feel like that's more in college basketball because college basketball's insane. But, like, if you look at his PFF grade, it's not good. It's not. But he has a sack every other week. 1, 3, 5, and, well, they have a bye week. But 8, they had a bye week in there. But he's got a hurry almost. He's at least 1 or hurry or more, and then 2 or more in the last 5. We had a lot of stuff getting in the backfield.
Yeah, the thing to pay attention to, and I don't know if you found this yet, it's pass rush win rate. Okay. So that is more of a predictor of sacks than sacks, because sacks are random in essence if you think about it, right?
A little bit of luck sometimes.
There's a little bit of luck involved with it. So the pass rush win rate, that is like a tongue twister even as I think about saying that.
Yeah, it is a tongue twister, I agree.
But that's something, I've never looked that up. I'll be honest, I get that info from there's a podcast that goes really deep into some games, and they'll talk about that.
Yep.
So I know about the stat. I guarantee it's on the premium stat section, though. If you go to individual player,
that's where
this is just where you could go so deep. Like, and I loved how we got and do this because I spend more and more time on these 3 games. And every time still coming into Thursday, I'm like, I could spend 2 more hours on every fucking game. Because once you start learning about these like advanced things and you can go look at all this, you just want to look at more. And to your point, sometimes player grades they're not great or they're say really good. And you're like, yeah, but that doesn't add up. Because it's a unit, like I was saying about the Seahawks defensive line, they're rated fucking great, but that just doesn't add up. Then you go look at everybody that plays against them, and you go look at collectively how they do as a rush defense. It's not very good. So anyways, with the Byron Young, because everything I hear is people love the guy.
Okay.
And so that's another thing. When I see some of these grades, I'm like, I like it, I trust it, but there's a sense of also like, let's go look at some other stats from them and like also kind of trust what we see a little bit in their numbers.
Yeah, I'm a little worried at times, and we'll get off of Byron Young. He's getting a lot of our time, but he gets a lot of snaps rushing the quarterback. Last week sticks out at only 16 pass rushing snaps, but the week before he had 33, which is nice, and then he averages around that 23, 22, 25, 23 range. I think the number's going to be juicy. The grade is low. He sucks at tackling. He's terrible, but a lot of edge rushers are. If you look at a lot of their grades, I've learned that. Like, they just suck. Chase Young is a horrible tackler. Like, they're just not good at tackling because they only have one job. Please just tackle the quarterback. We don't give a shit about anything else.
Put pressure on the quarterback.
So I expect this number to be at least 115. The only reason I think it's plus 115. The only reason I think it'll be lower is because he has a sack every other game. So Vegas will be scared to make it too high.
I think we could get plus 140.
I want 140.
I think we're gonna get it.
I love it. Okay, that's a best bet.
Are we moving on?
We're moving on. That's a best bet for me if we have it. Love this next bet. I'd love to get your feedback. Your feedback's nice. Go ahead. Colts at Vikings. Got it. Go ahead.
You want me to start it?
Please do.
Okay, perfect. So this one's very tough, but we came to the same fucking bets. Whereas, like, Ravens, Broncos, we were kind of against each other in a way. Last week, we were against each other a couple times.
Yeah.
This is one we came to, like, the same conclusion, almost. I'm not picking a side, man. I can't. Like, I am so torn on a side. I could see this game going absolutely different ways. Colts, also, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think they've lost by more than 6 points this year.
Wow.
So, like, why the fuck? I don't want to fade the fucking Colts.
Yeah.
No, especially not with mighty Joe Flacco coming back, dude. That's kind of why I put this in here. I also put it because it's prime time and I know we're all going to be together. So, like, we're all going to want money on this game. So I was 100%. Like, let's let me and Corey research the shit out of it so he can at least educate people.
I love it. I love it. I do love it.
So that was actually intentional this week. Like, I'm going prime time.
When I saw it,
and
I
did one in every time slot.
I know what he's doing.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm confirming the Colts thing here because I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they lost. You're right.
No, I saw it. You're right.
So, yep. So, like, and that's shit. They did half that game with Anthony Richardson.
I know.
So, like, in this defense, I don't think much of this defense still. But I'm stuttering here because I'm just so torn on this. Minnesota's defense, right? Some people are like, oh, that's a fraudulent defense. I don't think it is. I think we all still know Burns. I always forget the guy's first name.
I don't know. You would know.
Who cares? The defensive coordinator for the Vikings. Anyways, the guy's good. He always brings a lot of pressure, but he does it in such creative ways. Kind of like Steve Spagnuolo. I'm not calling him Steve Spagnuolo of the Chiefs because he's kind of known as being an elite defensive coordinator. But the Vikings D coordinator, he gets crafty. So with Joe Flacco, an old vet, will that work against him? Because sometimes we forget Joe Flacco is an average quarterback at best. Everybody anoints him, and I do too. But it's not like he's a fucking elite quarterback walking out there.
No.
Vikings have like the biggest home field advantage in the NFL is what I've heard because of that dome gets so loud. Like them, Kansas City, but like specifically that dome, I guess gets crazy in there.
Okay.
And they can pump some noise in somehow. So, anyways, they just have a bigger home field advantage. But I don't know, man. I think Colts could do a backdoor. I think the Colts could win. I think the Vikings could get out by 28 points here. I have no opinion on the side. What I do have opinions about, though, Colts do allow a lot of receiving yards to tight ends. I'm going to let you go into it because I saw we have the same bet on that one. So I'll let you talk about it, but I hope my only concern with this is TJ Hawkinson hasn't played all year. They say he's not on a snap count. Well, they said that about Hassan Reddick last week, and he played 26 fucking snaps.
I know, bro. But he had a sack, though, right?
Did he get a sack, Hassan Reddick?
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
No. I took that bet.
You sure?
I didn't get it.
All right, nonetheless. Yeah. I thought I saw one. Go ahead.
So anyways, that's my only concern with Hawkinson, because if you look at the Colts, they just let opposing tight ends and number one receivers destroy them. Like, destroy them. They can get 12 targets, and the Colts don't stop it because the Colts they play the same vanilla defense. Everything I hear, they don't change their defense per game plan. Like a lot of coordinators make it specific to the team. The Colts are pretty vanilla in what they do. They play a simple cover 3. They leave it like that. So teams just know how to attack it because you know what you're going to get going into it. And I do love O'Connell because he's from that McVay tree for Minnesota, man. So this is one of my favorite bets of the week, actually. I took Minnesota over 6.5 points first quarter team total. Dude, go look at their game scripts. They never fucking don't score a touchdown. Minnesota Vikings are absolutely elite. So first 15 plays, if people don't know this, it's scripted. After that, it's a free-for-all. We're adjusting. Yeah. But they practice the shit out of those 15 plays. The night before the game, they review those, and they review it against every fucking defense that could be run. And it does matter the offense coordinator, because if they come in with a good game plan, right, you're going to throw that defense off, but eventually the defense has time to adjust. Anyways, Vikings, dude, they are fucking great out of the gate. They are great. Yeah. So I love taking that advantage. As I talked shit on the Colts defense, and I was unsure about the Minnesota's defense just because, hey, we got a veteran quarterback. I like the over 2. So I'm on over 46.5. I'm on Minnesota over 6.5 first quarter. And I'm on Hawkinson and Justin Jefferson receiving yards. I split those two up because, like I said, number one, it's the number one tight end and the number one receiver just obliterates them. Not a lot of running back stuff, but those two. So anyways, I'm not comfortable with the side, but I really like those bets I talked about.
Yeah, that was good stuff. I like that. 14 points last week versus the Rams in the first, right? In the first quarter for the Vikings specifically.
And then 20 for the game.
That's right, 20 for the game. That's right. And then they had 7 against Detroit, and they only had 10. I'm sorry, 7 against Detroit in the first quarter. They only had 10 in the first half.
Script, dude. They're good on script.
Yeah, good on script. Dude, I found this. I sleepwalked into this, I think is how you could phrase it. Saw on PFF that Hawkinson's back. Hawkinson hasn't played all year. I didn't know that. So I was like, dude, I know Hawkinson's an absolute boss. I know that. So I started looking up some stuff. And I looked at if you look at the linebackers' grades, pass protection, pass coverage, I guess is what PFF calls it, on their grades, right? 48.8 for speed. That's the last name, sorry. Last name speed. 59 out of 74. Franklin, 52.6, which is 50th ranked out of 74 on linebackers. And Stewart, 52.4. But he's only played 2 weeks, so he's still kind of raw. Doesn't really fit into the ranking. But they're all about the same. Not good. I'm going to throw another one in for you. Safety, Nick Cross, also not good. Right? Sometimes they pick up tight ends.
Yes, they do. No. I'm laughing because in my Dynasty League, I have him, and he's a point machine. because I think people target when he gets tackles. So that's why I laughed.
Hawkinson last season played the whole year. All right. Last season, with this specific total, which is 38.5 receiving yards, okay, he was only under it twice, and one of those was week 1.
What?
Hawkinson was only under 38.5 receiving yards, and two of those happened. Like, two of those were there, and in the 24 yards, he had like 8 targets. The 35 yards was
wild.
week 1. So like, I'm terrified. Just off the numbers, I stopped making notes. Just off the numbers alone that I put there made me hammer the 38.5. It is the best bet of the week. It is my highest bet of the week. I might buy Hawkinson jersey.
And I already know Sunday night you're going to be lit. And if he hits this number, you're going to tell everybody in the house 10 times.
Yep. Hawkinson hit, bro. Fuck it. A lot of these, like linebackers cover tight ends. Safeties cover tight ends. I like a lot here. Hawkinson's a good tight end. I just don't understand how this doesn't hit, but it's betting, so you never know. Anyway, I really like Hawkins here. In terms of the game, I didn't really have a good feel. I think both of these teams, you can't trust the Colts because Flacco's at quarterback. They keep flopping back and forth. That's why it's tough to grade the Colts in a general sense. It
is. You're right. Yep.
Vikings are, I guess it's officially said, you can say they're on the trend down. I know the Detroit Tigers, sorry, baseball still in the brain from yesterday. Detroit Lions are on that's a good team, right? And they lost by 3. But the Rams, we think they're trending up. We're going to find out. Also, so back-to-back losses off an undefeated start. Where are they at now? I don't know. They're back down to earth, but what does that mean for them? I think this game's going to be good. I think this is a live bet opportunity in a general sense.
Yeah.
Not touching it in any other facet in terms of what side, but I think this is a prop hit. Obviously, Hawkinson's my go-to with it. Over 38.5.
I love it. I'm so glad we came to the same conclusion on this too, because I don't look at your bets. I
will definitely lose.
Shit. The problem.
You still know. Careful. Careful.
I know.
You just enjoy the number.
Normally, it's when we give each other bets where the other one's just asking for a bet where we always lose. When one person's like, this is my favorite bet of the week, and the other one's like, okay, I'll just follow. This one we came to independently.
You're right.
A couple other things, because I like that you did like a little bit different research than me too. Like we didn't give the same shit, because I could tell by your unit size. I'm like, I can't take away the Hawkinson steam from him because this is big for him. Like, I've got to let him. But I was like, I also need to give what I saw too to back it up, and that was really Colts defense, which you gave all the stats on of why
linebackers. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So here's another prop. I haven't taken this yet because it's not up.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot about it until you mentioned the Colts. We don't know because Flacco and Anderson have pocket back and forth. So what I did though for the Colts, I went and looked at the 3 games that Flacco has been their quarterback.
Okay, yeah.
Now he did replace Anderson in one, but it was pretty early, so I judge it as a full game.
Richardson, but yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
His favorite target by far is Josh Downs. By far. Go look at those 3 games. So I am going to take Josh Downs. I don't give a fuck what the number is. I know it's not out, 1, because this Flacco thing is kind of new, but 2, Michael Pittman and Josh Downs have been listed as questionable for like 4 weeks in a row. So they've been late. They've been kind of playing through injury. So anyways, I just say that because I think the prop's not going to be up for a minute.
And being night later. No, you're right. Go ahead.
I hope, because obviously I'm trying to get my bets in before Saturday morning.
Yeah, you will lose track of time. I'll tell you, me too. That's why you see an air mattress behind me.
That's nice. So anyways, but that's something to keep an eye on in addition to everying else.
You ready for it? I have it. What do you want it to be?
You do?
What do you want it to be?
Shit. Hold on.
Can't cheat.
Give me 2 seconds.
You're gonna cheat.
No, I'm not cheating. I'm going back. I need to remember what I saw in those 3 games, and I can pull that up really quick here.
Okay. I got every pretty much receiving.
So
yards.
I would like him to be at 70 yards.
Do you want to go half? I'm thinking about 57.5 is what I have.
That's what Josh Downs is?
Uh-huh.
Dude, okay. I'm gonna fucking hammer that bet. I wonder if I have that. I need to go to my action now.
Yeah, what'd you get Jefferson at?
84.5.
That's what we got. That's what we got. That's what we got. That's what I got.
Okay, so that hasn't moved.
No.
Has Hawkinson moved up at all?
No.
Jefferson.
I'm
Downs,
surprised.
57.5. He's up. Dude, I'm going to go fucking slam this.
I'll join you. I am surprised Hawkinson hasn't moved.
I bet people are scared because it's his first game back, right?
I think it's early. They're confirming. I don't know. They're getting ready. I don't know. I think it's early. I expect
They're getting ready.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. I'm just saying shit.
They're getting that money. They're getting that money counted up.
Yeah, there you go. All right, we'll move on. Just want to get your opinion on this. Why talk about it? Here's what I did. I kind of give some people some insight to how I tackled this week. This is a little bit a different flow for me. Last week I looked at last 4 weeks sacks allowed in general. Average sacks allowed last 4 weeks per team. Obviously the Browns ranked 1, and then it went into Patriots and Dolphins, and then on down. That's how I attacked it. This week I did a little bit different. Okay. I attacked it with pass blocking rating on PFF per team. New Orleans Saints are ranked the worst. But also I've noticed that doesn't always result in sack numbers, so it's tough to tell as well. So, nonetheless, Cowboys are ranked 5th worst in pass blocking rating. They are. They're ranked, their team rating is 54 in terms of pass blocking rating, which is, to give you a perspective, the Saints are 43.1 at worst. Here's where I'm at. I'll just cut to the chase. Make it kind of short because I didn't expect everybody to do the research. Do you know? I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just wondering. I don't know who this is, but he was an absolute stud for the Patriots just a few years ago. Matthew Judon.
That Judon?
Yeah.
He was a stud.
Absolute baller.
He got traded during training camp because he didn't want to be a part of the Patriots team.
Absolute stud in the sack category.
And he sucks this year. Interesting.
And he's not played well. Week 1 and 2, you were excited. Last set of weeks and what is that? 2, 4, 6, 7. Not great. I'm wondering with this really poor defensive, because he's got some hurries in there, right? He's got some tackles made in there, right? And not a ton of missed tackles. I'm not saying he's a great tackler. That's not where I'm headed with this. I'm wondering if this is attack on the Browns O-line. Jeez, I've been attacking them all year. But attack on the Cowboys O-line this week because they're so poor. And I'm wondering if there's something to attack there with the Judon probably being pretty solid pretty solid number. I'm wondering if that's something to attack. But I didn't know your vibe because if you look, someone's going to get a sack. Here's my point. That's how I look at it. Someone's going to get a sack. Who's it going to be?
As soon as you started talking about this, I'll tell you the reason I'm very hesitant of it. The Falcons have one of the worst pass rushing offenses in the NFL. And that's what I've seen with my eyes, and that's what I hear from everybody. And then I just went and looked on PFF. They have the 31st rated pass rush defense.
Yeah.
That's my only concern. Because you're right. The Cowboys are good in the interior, but their tackles suck. But I don't know because Falcons can't fucking get any pass rush on anybody.
I know. I see that. They've never had above 1 sack a game besides week 1. That was versus Justin Fields. That's who it was against. But I'll think about this some more. Judon's going to be like plus 300, bro. It's going to be insane.
So that could be a value bet.
I think it's a value bet here because they're so bad, kind of like you just said. They're so bad. There's going to be 1 sack in this game. I'll say this. How about this? There's going to be 1 sack in this game because the Cowboys are that bad at pass blocking on the tackle side specifically. They do have Smith, left guard, pretty solid cat, right? But on the tackle side, though, they're very, very, very weak. I think there's going to be 1 sack in this game. Here's the thing. Who's it going to be? Because you got to think, last 3 games, 2 sacks allowed against a Steeler team that doesn't sack a lot, although they looked like they had a lot of sacks this past week. 4 sacks allowed versus Detroit, 2 sacks allowed versus San Francisco. Now, those are generally pretty good defenses I just named, but I could go through their entire schedule and everyone else they allow sacks too because they don't have a good pass block. There's going to be one.
Yes, there is. They're going to get after it.
And Judon was good. That's where I'm at. I don't know.
Let's look at the number. I would like to point this out. The Falcons have the second, since we're on this game, I didn't expect this to come up. But
I'm sorry.
I'm on Cowboys +3, by the way, here. They had no plan of talking about it. It's not a best bet, but it's a bet I like. I'm only got like 4 sides. That's one of them. But rush offense, Atlanta is rated second behind only the Ravens. Makes sense, right? Rush defense, our Cowboys are ranked 32nd. Is that a mismatch or is that a mismatch?
Yeah.
I just wrote down on my notes, I'm going to look at Bijan Robinson rushing props.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know why you like the Cowboys in this game. I can't get behind that in a general sense off the jump. The Falcons, Cowboys are just not that good. I mean,
no, they're not. But the Falcons, I think, like they play every game close, and then they just got their ass beat by the Seahawks, and all their wins they just kind of squeak by.
Cowboys,
I don't think there is
Cleveland win and a Giants win. It's 2 other wins.
Yeah, they're not very good.
All right.
They're not very good, but this is a must-win spot for them too. You know how I feel about must-win spots in the NFL.
Yeah, Bengals. Okay.
I don't know.
Anyway, let's move on. College football. Dude, this game's huge. I think this is the game. I think you're going to miss it, and I'm sorry.
I probably am.
I'm sorry.
I know.
Ohio State at Penn State.
I'll get it on the TV.
You'll at least see some.
Yeah.
Airplane.
That's what God.
Coming to me. Yep. I'll leave us off, dude. I got a great number. I guess I'm just going to leave it there. But I think others. I don't know. I don't think anybody will see this again for this. Let me see where we're at now. Yeah, you're not going to get it back. I got 4.
No.
I got +4 Penn State, man.
I saw that. It's not coming back. If anything, it's likely to go 3.
That ain't coming back, man. I love that. This game will be close. Penn State has not won this matchup though since 2016, but keep in mind they've covered the last 3 out of 5, which is nice. There's a lot of different things that stuck out for me for Ohio State. The left tackle for Ohio State, Michelansky, 30, and he's only played the last 2 weeks. 30 pass snaps versus Oregon. He's allowed 2 hurries and he had a penalty. And then the next week they played Oregon that week, and then Nebraska this week. 21 pass snaps versus Nebraska. 4 pressures allowed. 2 sacks allowed. Since Penn State's D-line is extremely... They're the best defense in the country. I'm not going to go into this with Penn State. They're extremely good. And the corners for Ohio State in general are pretty weak. And the two road games they've had. So this game's on the road. It's at Penn State. The 2 road games they have at Michigan State, they allowed 16 of 25 for 200 yards, and they killed Michigan State, but they allowed a nice little chunk of yards through the air with a good completion percentage. In Oregon, they lost the game. Dylan Gabriel, Heisman candidate. They lost at Oregon. I don't know if I'm outright ready to say that. And to jump on the Michelansky thing, the left tackle for Ohio State, Howard, a quarterback for Ohio State, his quarterback rating under pressure is only 62.5. I know Penn State, there's a lot of things here that kind of stick out. Basically, they just can't beat Ohio State. Penn State just can't beat them. That's why I take in the +4. I like it. This game's going to be close. This game's going to be good. I like Penn State a lot. If you're looking for a value play, we'll kind of take a peek at the money line. If you can get +40 is nice. 140 is nice. +145 is really nice. FanDuel's got it +128. I don't think that's worth it. I would try to take points instead with that. This game's going to be close, in my opinion, because they've covered the last 3 out of 5, so Penn State kind of can get it after it. So best believe it at home. So,
do we know if Drew Lars is going to play for sure?
I don't know. That's the thing with college football. I don't need to go into that. It's going to be a 15-minute conversation. They're terrible with injury notifications.
I hate it, dude. That's
awful.
And nobody knows. We're not going to know. I'm scared to bet this game because of that. I want the guy that's been there all year. You know? Do we know anything about their backup?
I don't. I could look it up.
But you went for it anyways.
Yeah.
So you still like the bet if their backup's in?
I do, strictly because of the defense and how it presents against Ohio State. I'm talking the +4 here. It's easy to talk shit when you have +4, right? But yeah, that's kind of why I like it. But at the same time, they just can't beat Ohio State, and that's why it's a tough bet because they never can beat them, right?
And that's why the point's more value than the money line, probably.
That's
what you talked me into, not the money line.
I'm assuming they would play Bo Pribula, sophomore. He has played 11 games. He has some snaps, but he ain't no Aller. It'd be tough. It's gonna be a tough replacement if it's necessary.
If he's a very different quarterback, though, it could serve as an advantage in a one-game sample size. You know how we talk about that? If you have a good OC and you've got a guy that's at least Ohio State's going to have to prepare for 2 different quarterbacks, so that's an advantage to Penn State.
Yeah.
So if it's Alar, hey, that's good because we got our quarterback. If it's the other guy, if his skill set's different, it could be an advantage, right? And you know how I feel about Andy Kolnicki for Penn State. I love that guy.
Yeah.
I love him. I think he's such a good OC. I didn't even read the article, but The Athletic just did apparently a huge piece on him. So I like, the Kolnicki guy.
Well, to your point is 5 of the last 6 in this match have been under. 5 of the last 6 have been under.
And that was going to be my next question is the total because the bets, the public is coming in on the over, but the money's all on the under.
I like under. I will say that. I do. I would hit under on it, personally. 5 of the last 6 have been under. It's going to be a dogfight. Quarterback's out. It's even more. And they're going to give pressure to Howard. Penn State's going to put pressure on Howard here. I like under. I simply do. I don't know what the weather is, if that matters at all. Probably not. We're still kind of early on weather in terms of poor weather. So I'd stay away on there.
Okay.
In terms of weather factoring in. Sorry. I still like the under, but I haven't bet it.
Okay, that was my biggest question was the quarterback, and then what do you think of the total?
Yeah, I would hit under.
You would.
I think it's gonna be one of those dogfight games.
Yeah, I could see that too. These two teams just historically
last 5 of 6, man, under. They fight, and the spreads generally. I mean, I don't know. Penn State's got to push through. 2016 is the last time they won.
Yeah, I think the under's the bet. I do. I think that's what I like the most on this game is the under. And it's just you have 2 really good defenses. They're power rated really good.
They are.
You go look at their ratings; they're all really good. Penn State doesn't have good wide receivers though. They're like their wide receiver crew's not good, so that makes so it's not like they're just going to come out slamming against Ohio State. I don't think. And since you know the defensive line better than I do, like if you're saying they're one of the best, they're an elite defensive line. That's going to be hard for Howard because I do know him being at K-State for so long.
Yeah,
he's better in a clean pocket. He is,
Yep.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's all. The only thing I'm confident on is the under. That's really all I have in this game.
Interesting. Should we probably wait? Maybe see if that increases. I don't know.
I kind of want to because if you look, it started at 47, dipped all the way to 45, which is like, whoa, and now it's up to 46.5. I'm just wondering, can we get 47? Because the keys are 44, 45, 47.
Yep.
I don't think we're going to lose that key at 45, so I almost think it's worth seeing, hey, can we catch it at 47?
I think I'm going to try to wait and see what we get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
This next game is... it just jumped out at me, man. That's all. Vanderbilt at Auburn. I did see something the other day. I don't have it in my notes. I'm going to speak off the cusp. I'm going to get the year wrong, but I'll get the stat right, if that makes sense. Auburn hasn't lost 3 in a row since 1998.
No
at
way.
At home.
Okay. I was going to say, I thought they've had some bad years.
At home. I haven't lost 3 in a row at home since 98, so it's kind of insane. It jumped out at me because Auburn's a 3-5 team, but they're favored by almost a touchdown. I got it at 6.5, so that was pretty nuts.
Oh, you thought you were getting value there? Shit.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Strength of the schedule that both teams have played is going to be the same. But one thing that sticked out, Auburn has the 20th ranked power defense, and Vandy's defense is only ranked 94th.
Mm-hmm.
So Hugh Freeze might be playing for his job here. I think it's a little early, but Auburn fans probably say that it's time. So he might be playing for his job here. But let's just look at last season. I understand it's a new year. Pavia is... I know he won't be invited to the Heisman. I'm not saying he's a dark horse. But, man, if he ain't on Vandy's team, they ain't this good, period. Like, their quarterback for Vandy is a huge difference maker, nonetheless. Last season, man, ran for 243 yards, had 5 sacks against Vandy. So Auburn ran for 243, had 5 sacks. Last week, Vandy should have won. Simple as that. 184 yards they outgained them by. Texas, that's who they played. Should have beaten them. Very emotional. So I'm assuming there's a little bit of hangover here. So maybe you could go with a first quarter bet if you're interested, with Auburn being at home. Kind of a must. This is really a must win. If you're an SEC AD looking at Hugh Freeze and where you go as Auburn, losing to Vandy at home, as in Auburn's going to look at this, they're going to term that as a humongous failure, especially 3 straight losses at home.
Fuck yeah, it is.
You talked about must wins earlier. This has to be for them.
That was going to be my main argument, dude. Yeah. They're also 3-5.
I know.
And to get to bowl eligibility, so their next game is against UL Monroe. So let's say that's a win, right? So in their mind, I'm thinking they're saying, hey, if we can get this one, we'll get the next one, and then we have a shot versus A&M.
Yep.
Well, then it's A&M and Alabama. They had to beat one of those two. Like, we can get lucky one of those games. So I think if you're Auburn, this is a spot game, dude. It's already to take the steam, but this is a spot game. I think that's why the number has moved from 6.5 into 7.5, and it doesn't make sense. Because Vanderbilt has come off like 3 grinding games, just tough fought fucking games, and a brutal schedule. And this is a letdown spot for them. And for Auburn, this is the season.
This is. You're so right. You kind of took it. You took it better. You actually did it better than I did. You did it.
I'm sorry. I realized I interrupted you, and then I couldn't stop. And
you did it better. I
just said what he.
I'm out here spitting numbers. You're out here putting out his. It is the season. Because if they lose, I think you flip on Auburn and how you bet them, because they hit a bye week and they'll just mail it in. You probably hammer UNL Monroe at that point. I don't know. But this is huge. They come off a win at Kentucky. And again, Alabama has not looked good, period, really. I know they killed Missouri, but they are a beatable team is the point. So Auburn, it could happen. I know it's Alabama, but that's a rivalry game. Anyway, that's way down the road. Okay. They allow 5.1 yards on the rushing yards on the road. Vandy does. And you're like, okay, Corey Burrow. Who have they played? Georgia State, a Sunbelt team. Missouri just fucking got blanked by Bama. Kentucky. That's terrible. Not a good team. And they allowed 5.1 rushing yards to them. Okay, just saying. And Auburn ran all over them last year. 243 yards rushing. I love that. This matchup between these two teams has never in the history been over on the total. Ever.
Never in the history?
Ever.
Oof.
Yep. I just don't see Auburn as bad as their record states. I didn't bet this on this stat, but simply looking at the game grades of all teams that Phil still has, he thinks that Auburn should be rated, in terms of game grades, 22 in the country.
Whoa.
So they're not as bad as their record states.
What does that make OU? 21?
I don't know. I'm
That's
sure
gonna
it's
be
not.
OU's only SEC win.
I know, right? Oklahoma, just for shits and giggles, they're ranked 43rd.
Oklahoma sucks.
43rd on the year. Yeah, Oklahoma. This number is insane. You think Vandy should cover no problem. You're like, dude, Auburn sucks, right? A lot of the Joes, right? We're trying to want to be pros here. There's a lot of things you just look at and you're like, bro, no chance that Auburn covers. I think 7 looks like a lot, but I think it could happen here. I think it does. Vandy's emotional luck and all the things that they've gone through, does it run out for this week? I think so.
Yes, just this week. Totally.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you have Auburn 6.5.
I do. I got him at 6.5. Got him
okay. You got the good number. Sorry, at the beginning I was thinking you had Vanderbilt for some reason.
No.
Okay, because my thought on this game was you either take Auburn versus the spread or Vanderbilt money line. That's it.
Wow, 7.5.
Don't fuck with Vanderbilt with the points, because they're either going to win this football game.
They're undefeated, right? ATS underdog. Pretty sure Vandy is 5-0 as an underdog this season on ATS.
Okay,
you're right.
Yep.
Do not fuck with them.
So that's where I say, like, but if you're going to take Vandy, take them on the money line. That's it. Otherwise, I think this is like Auburn wins by 3 touchdowns, and everyone's like, "What? I don't understand. I don't understand college football." Like, neither do I. But that's why you just take Auburn here. I'm disappointed I missed the number though.
Yeah, wow. Maybe a teaser piece for you if you're interested. But you might.
Yeah, if I can find another team to tease him with.
I'm about to give you 2.
That.
We'll make
You're going to give me 2.
Yeah,
Are we moving on?
We're
Okay.
moving on. Make it quick.
I want to know.
I'll make these quick for you. Louisville at Clemson. Okay, I think it's a great parlay piece if you're looking at money line, and I'll jump on this. Maybe even a good teaser piece, as we were just kind of alluding to it. I'll make it kind of quick because this is no best bets. This is no anything. This is not really juicy stuff while you listen to the podcast, but it's good stuff because I think Clemson's going to win the ACC, and I think they're going to really make some noise in the playoff, personally. But anyway, off a bye, Dabo Swinney is 29-12 straight up. That's why I said the parlay piece here. 29-12 straight off a bye. Clemson has never, ever lost to Louisville. Okay? And they're 5-1 against the spread the last 6 matchups versus Louisville. So they've never lost to them, and they're 5-1 last 6 against the spread versus Louisville. Louisville is 0-3 against the spread on the road and 0-2 as an underdog. That's another thing here because they're definitely an underdog by 10.5. This is why I said parlay place to 10.5 is real scary for me. Clemson has a 33rd ranked pass coverage defense, and Louisville passes 60% of the time. Pretty solid defense. Obviously, we've seen Clemson get lit up in the second half versus Georgia's pass offense, but that was week 1. They're a little bit. App State scored some points on them late. I think some of these could be some garbage yards against their defense, but I just love it. Louisville's strength of schedule is only 106th. Clemson's is 23rd. This sounds like a blowout, but I'm a little scared because Louisville is tough. They're a tough team. But I really like Clemson in this matchup. If you can tease them down, I like that a lot. If you get them to 3.5, I still like that. I think this is a touchdown-ish game or more for sure. But there's some of these stats pointing to too good to be true, so I'm a little scared. But I like it.
I don't think so, man. I mean, you talked me more into it. And when I think about Clemson, what do? They win. And so I was looking at them as a favorite. How do they do? And they're, these big spreads, they're pretty good actually.
Yeah.
No, it's not crazy. It's 4-2, but one time they were 16.5 point favorite and they won by 16. That's one of their losses.
Yeah.
Their other versus the spread. Their other one, they were favored by 20.5. They won by 17. So they're pretty well meeting expectations even when they're a large favorite like this. So I think taking them, money line, and honestly, maybe just buying Auburn down to 6. Because like I said, I think this is one Auburn wins big.
Yeah.
But I just don't like the 7.5, so I just want to get it to like 6.
I know.
And then taking Clemson money line because I don't think Clemson loses this game.
I don't think.
I'm with you, man. Maybe they get backdoored and win by 7 is all, or 10.
Yeah.
And it's at 10.5 right now, so I'm not going to fuck with that. But
I know. That's why I said parlay piece, maybe even a teaser if you're kind of that jam. That's fine too.
No, I like that. Yeah, I just don't like teasing it because for me, taking it to 10.5 and a 4.5, I'm not really getting value. Like, I don't like that. I want to cross 2 to 3 at least and get them -3.
No, we did not. Sorry. Clemens, okay. I think Clemens just got a sack.
No way.
I swear to God.
They're on offense now.
I'm looking. He sure did. I am. Dude, this is insane. You know what that number was?
Plus 240.
Plus 240.
And it hit. Damn, dude. Your sack props fucking making your year, really.
It is, dude. Ain't no fucking doubt. All right, we'll keep going. This one is tough, man. And the only reason I found it is because, and I'm just going to jump out and say it. This is Texas Tech at Iowa State. Iowa State is going to win the Big 12, most likely. I don't know. That's not the argument here. Iowa State is the 116th worst tackling team in the country.
Wow, that seems weird for a Matt Campbell team.
Insane. Now, their defense is fine. That's not the argument. I'm talking tackling specifically. Texas Tech's not that bad. I really don't. I think 13.5 is a lot. I could see Iowa State winning by 2 touchdowns. That's why I'm going to label them here as a teaser team. I know this is kind of an Alex Meisch play move here, but I do like it.
I love a teaser.
I know you do. That's why I think if you tease them up, it's too much. I like them a lot. In terms of, I think this is too many points. They have a better strength of schedule and they have a better offensive rank than Iowa State. My point is, I think this game will stay within that range of 3 touchdowns-ish. That's my point.
Okay.
Right? That's where I'm at. Texas Tech does rank 47th in havoc allowed, right? So they don't allow a lot of like tackles for loss. They don't allow a lot of sacks. They don't allow, things like that, right? Pressures and hurries. 47th, it's almost middle now. It's a little bit better middle. So I don't know. I just think that this will be a closer game than you think. Texas Tech has battled. They have a solid record. That's why I'm going to tease them up. I just want to throw them. This was not a game breakdown. This was a quick tidbit for throwing them in with Clemson if you want. Right?
Yeah.
Tease up and then tease down.
Iowa State is coming off a bye.
I know. It's tough.
That's the only, thing there, because Texas Tech is not. Because Iowa State, as they've gotten a little deeper in their Big 12, they're not crushing teams. UCF almost had them on the ropes.
They should have won. UCF should have won. They're just not, UCF's just not a good team. I watched that game.
They're not winners, dude. They're not winners. They're just not winners.
Matt Campbell, 7-11 off a bye. He has a losing record.
That's it. It's not like Iowa State's a juggernaut, but still, they make bowl games pretty much every year.
They do. So that's a bowl game team.
I would say his average record's 7-5. So the fact that he has a losing record off a bye is not impressive.
7-11 off a bye, home favorite 16-18. Losing record as a home favorite against the spread.
Damn. And Texas Tech ain't bad. They've gotten better as the years went on.
That is the way to phrase them. They ain't bad. That's
it. That's it. You don't like them any more than that. They beat Cincinnati, who's done some things. Arizona's not bad.
Morton's a gamer. Their quarterback's a gamer. Morton, right? He's a gamer.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's a baller.
Okay.
He can game. He can go win some games for you. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be really interesting to watch.
Could be closer. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those where, if Iowa State loses, makes the Big 12 a little more interesting. I don't know.
Can we shift to the Big 12 here? Or did you have anything else?
Nope.
Oh, because shifting to the Big 12, since you said they're going to win. I think BYU's overrated. But Colorado's surprising me. Who are the two teams that make the Big 12 championship game?
Shoot, man. Iowa State's going to make it, in my opinion.
Yep. Figure that'd be one. Who else do you have?
I don't have this.
You need the
Colorado. They have at least two. They have 2 losses, or 1
in the Big 12.
Yeah.
I thought they just had 1. They lost to
Kansas
State
and Nebraska. That's Big 10. So
that's Big 10.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's tough.
I wanted to count Colorado out, but
not yet. Clearly,
but not yet though. Not yet.
Yeah, Iowa State, Kansas State's gonna be a really good ass game.
Yeah, because K State's also in, and I forgot to talk about
the last game of the year is the Big 12 championship. To be honest with you, between Iowa State, Kansas State,
it is.
In a general sense, I think, because those two teams, I think, pretty much are neck and neck in terms of how good they are.
Yes.
So I guess because they don't have divisions, right? So I think, depending on
those 4 teams we talked about, they're the only ones. BYU, Iowa State undefeated in conference. K-State, Colorado, one loss each.
BYU's schedule is pretty easy to finish out here. Let's be real. BYU, Iowa State is the pick.
BYU, Iowa State.
Iowa State wins that.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
And Iowa State beats them though. K-State, they don't have a. Yeah, that's really is the big game of the year, isn't it?
Now Kansas State beats them. Obviously, Kansas State, I guess, sneaks in there. I don't know. I didn't see what their loss was.
Arizona. Wait, no, that didn't even.
Kansas State lost to BYU.
And they got killed by them too.
Yeah, see, that's tough. That's tough.
Which is weird because I watch BYU and I'm not that impressed.
Dude, they have big wins when they need it. That all the sharps destroyed UCF in terms of hitting that number, and BYU said, "Hold my beer." That's what they did.
Yes, they did. Yep.
Huge win on the road. Now they have Utah. This is going to be another interesting spot here for them. On the 9th. They have a bye week this week. But
yeah. And then it's just KU, Arizona State, Houston. They shouldn't have any problem with Houston.
Yeah, dude.
KU and Arizona State could put up a fight.
KU's getting better. KU's getting better.
They've never been a bad team.
They're turning
they just
the ball
lose.
less.
They lose every single game in the final 2 minutes. It's unbelievable.
Yep. Well, when you turn the ball over a lot too, that doesn't really help you very much. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and he did that again against K-State. Had the lead with a minute and a half left. Fumbles the football.
Lost a turnover battle, but the games that I don't know. Kansas State again. Everybody's down on this. Could be a team that you, or sorry, not Kansas State, but Kansas could be a team that you nab here as well.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, let's best bets. Let's hit it. I got you. There we go. I kind of flow right into it here. All right.
We're flowing in.
Yeah, Ohio State at Penn State. We'll go ahead and let's flash that up. Oh, nope. We're not. We're going to go with this Brown. So, yep, Ohio State at Penn State +4. I like Penn State +4. I got the number. I know everybody has that. 3.5. I don't hate it either. I don't. I think if I couldn't find the 4, I'd take it at 3.5.
Okay.
Right over the field goal. I think it's going to. I like Penn State here. Ole Miss, team total over 30.5. I was torn on how I should go. What college bet looks nice. I know we got some Clemson with the parlay piece and teasers and all that. Ole Miss, I do see a bounce back. I thought I saw some trouble brewing against Oklahoma. I think Lane Kiffin gets back on track here at Arkansas. Okay, 30.5 team total. Byron Young, I'm going to do it. We just had a sack prop tonight. Byron Young, I'm going to do it. Over half a sack. I think this one's going to be tougher. But I do like it. There's other sack props we're going to have at play, but I like this one. Seahawks are that bad at pass blocking. 8th worst.
Yeah, as long as that lineman doesn't come back, I love it.
Yeah, I know. And then this is probably the bestest bet, but the last bestest bet I had went down in flames. TJ Hawkinson over 38.5 receiving yards versus the Colts. I know you did similar research and enjoys as well, but that are my best bets there. So
nice.
Okay.
Love it.
Here's what I got.
All right, so one I have not talked about. I told you, I'm going to give you a teaser a week. I love my teasers. I'm going to fall into the trap again, and I'm going to take the Ravens and the Chiefs. Simply just think they're better teams. We talked about the Ravens-Broncos game. I don't think the Ravens will lose that game. Patrick Mahomes is just a fucking winner. Buccaneers don't have Godwin or Evans. I do, and Chiefs' run defense, elite. I don't know how Tampa Bay is going to score points that game. I have the Rams money line versus the Seahawks. Talked about that. I think we're both on that. That's nice.
Yeah.
Bo Nix over 32.5 pass attempts. This is probably my favorite bet of the week. If you go back, you look at his stats, he clears this number. The Ravens, a lot of opposing quarterbacks clear this number because they can't run, so they think of other ways to get creative to kind of do, a short attack versus a long attack, so they do some dump-offs and stuff. And then final one, Kyron Williams over 86.5 rush yards.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, well, at least we proved that the rush defense for the Seahawks sucks. and again, you look at the last 4 weeks, Kyron Williams has been doing a lot of good. When you get Cooper Kupp and Nakua back, that takes some of that. You can't stack the box,
Yep.
And I think they struggled with that early in the year when teams probably were doing that more. So I didn't expect to land on that either, man. But that's where I'm at this week.
I like it. Is Hawkinson an unofficial best bet for you?
For me?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I've got, yes. I think I talked about 4 games or 4 bets in like every game. I have just as much money on him as I do my other best bets.
All right. You heard it.
I went pretty hard this week, so.
As I did.
You did too, yes.
Yep. I've done a couple deposits myself. All right. You heard it here first. Best bets. We got them on the list. We got them in action, and we'll check y'all next time. All right. Peace.
Deuce.